So it's interesting that Bryce was talking about high school. So what I remember about high school and what Bryce does are very different things. So I'm going to start with the story. All right, so I graduated high school in 2023. October 2023. Ha! Sorry, I was missing a 2 there. Okay, so 2003, and I was the kid that if my parents said I shouldn't do it, oh my God, I was going to dig my heels in. So anybody who knows me knows that that is 100% me. So I had this friend, Tanisha, and she was probably an exotic dancer in another life. She always was the center of attention, and she could bring an entire room to, you know, she was the center. And she convinced me to go into a tattoo shop. And this was the tramp stamp era, right? Who has a tramp stamp? Well, nobody's brave enough to tell me. I know half y'all in here have. Okay, so this was actually not a tattoo visit. So, and I'm going to just qualifier now, I am going to say some cuss words, okay? It is authentic for me. So, that is also why I'm not on the big stage. So, we get into there, and she wants to get her nipples pierced. I'm like, okay. What do you want from me? She's like, you're doing it with me. I'm like, huh? Like, I get a little, like, ooh, still. So I started, like, to quiz this guy, and of course, she's going first. I'm not doing it first. And so I go, so what does it feel like? He's like, well, it's a quick, fuck! And then you're done. Okay. I can handle that. And he goes, men can't handle it at all. The women are a lot better at this. I was like, well, by God, I'm definitely doing it then. So that is the day that I faced my fear and learned a lot about myself. So that proceeded to 12 different piercings, everything above the waist. We're going to stop there with that story because I'm not going into any more detail. However, those are those moments that really carve you. So when Bryce is talking about just incredible experiences on his mission and really impactful stories of his mentors, mine was a little different. I definitely am a trailblazer. So with that, I'm going to kind of get into my stuff. So I'm a disruptor. And I'm really proud of that, and I embrace it. When I was a kid, you told me I could do something, I dug in and I did it, even though you said I couldn't. Now, when people say, don't do anything I wouldn't do, that is not my mode of operandi. Mine is, don't do anything you can't explain to an ambulance driver. Because that one will keep you breathing. So that's kind of the way I go at that. This is a very small thing, but it shapes me going forward. So I'm completely me, and I do want to press upon you guys the message. Knowing who you are gives you more power than anything else could. And with that, let's talk about what the definition of fear is. All right, so as a noun, it's a distressing emotion aroused by impending danger, evil, pain. Is fear real? It can be. It can be. It absolutely can. Where does it come from? Your survival part of your brain. All right? We have to have that part of our brain. All right? There's also something to factor for. I mean, the verb to feel fear is what we're talking about. Most of our decisions are guided by our need for safety. All right? Who likes being uncomfortable? I actually do. I love being at Senate. I love it. I love being at Max. Yes, I appreciate it. I love being uncomfortable because guess what? That's the only place where growth happens. All right, so that is what fear is. I want everybody to keep that in your brain. All right. Fear is an emotion. All right, so how does an emotion happen? An emotion is something completely outside of our control. It is a little chemical messengers happening between your hippocampus and your amygdala. Everybody has emotions. Does everybody feel big emotions? Everybody in this room does. It is all about how you react to it, right? All right, so there's little neurological highways. I think of emotion like this. It's like a teenager hopped up on Red Bull who just got their license and their parents are out of town and the gas tank is full. All right, so every parent in the room is just like, oh God, I know what you're talking about. I have 10 14-year-olds. I've survived it so far. We're doing okay. All right, but my point is that emotion happens with or without your permission. So this is a naturally occurring thing that your brain does. We can hack that. All right, can't we, Kim?
Yes, we can.
We absolutely can. All right, so what can can you control really? All right? We can control our reaction to those feelings. Now, Sean already talked about mindset, right? So there's fixed mindset and there's growth mindset. It is all a mindset. But you also can rebuild your neural pathways to fight fear. It takes time. It's like a muscle. You just have to keep exercising it, right? All right, so you see the little Scrabble cubes on the right? Which one would you pick?
Place everything right.
It's not about how many times you fall down. It's about how many times you get back up. Everybody has some fear, some failure, and I'm not scared of fear. Well, I'm not scared of fear, but I'm not scared of failure either. Failure is your best teacher. It actually helps you the most. You learn the most from failure. It's actually a beautiful thing if you can learn to embrace it. Again, it's a mindset. So fear can be fuel. It literally could be gas in your tank. You want to know the best thing about fear, guys? It keeps you alert. You're paying attention when you're scared. It's just like, and a lot of the women in the room, when you're in a spot by yourself and it's dark, what are you looking for? Lighted areas, exits, other people, your phone, your mace, anything that'll protect you. So fear is a positive in that sense because it is keeping you alert. So how do we fight fear? With facts. All right? Okay, so I might sound impressive on paper. Thank you, Scott, for that. But I'll tell you, that was not an easy road. In 2017, we were starting to do the transition. And my brother, who is younger than me, was supposed to be CEO. All right? That was something that I was like, I don't want to work for my little brother. That's stupid. I also never planned on working for the family business. I actually had to earn my spot. And it was through things like recapturing our business. After the customer in question, everybody remember the King's discount stores? That's who it was. Tom King walked into my spot on February 16th at 2 p.m. on 2017, said, hey, all of my siblings have decided to liquidate the business. Family Dollar put us out of business in Amazon. I hope I told you soon enough. And my dad's like, no. If the plow is in the field, it's 70% planted. No, you didn't tell me soon enough. So that was my earn my stripes. I hit the road. I can sell pasture grass in the desert. I can sell the pants off the president. I can sell plants. And so that is what I dug into. And so what do? You learn, you lean into the scary. Now, I lead a team of about 150 people. A lot of people don't know we are actually wholesale. Yeah, we got the little store in Jerome. Great. But we are 85% wholesale. We deliver to 8 different states in an 800-mile radius with full semi-fleet. So our plants are everywhere. If anybody goes to Sun Valley in the summer, that's us. We plant the entire resort. We've been doing that for over 50 years. Botanical garden, Thanksgiving Point. Anybody ever been there? Down in Lehigh? Absolutely stunning. 55 acres of beautiful botanical garden. That's us. So those are just a couple of the things we do, but you know, all the plants you see in Twin Falls, that's a lot to manage. Now, anybody want to put your business hat on for a second? Does anybody want to run a business that you only make money 3 months of the year and you start the year in the hole and you don't know if you've made it out of it until the very end? Oh, and your business is completely reliant on Mother Nature, which you have no control of. Welcome to my job! All right, so it's a lot of fun though. I get to do exciting things. Another situation that I do want to highlight that was fearful, right? So losing Kings, that was fearful. 2023, I believe, yeah, that's my math, and I'm glad you're in the room, sir. So we had our most profitable year we've ever had. Made the most money we could. We were $250,000, $500,000 above budget. I was in the red at the end of the year. And I'm going, okay, WTF, what happened? We overspent on labor. We ended that year $200,000 in the hole. Now, in farming, that is just part of the cycle, right? I farm in little boxes. However, I was in a leadership group with AgWest, our lender, and I was talking to other greenhouses and bankers in ag, and I was like, God, I had 17 chiefs with 17 different answers on how to do one job. How do I deal with this? And we started talking, started to throw ideas at me, and Ben Showalter, who works for AgWest, made a really great recommendation. He said, have you read the book Traction by Gino Wickman? I was like, no, I haven't. So I started listening to this while I'm walking around the greenhouse. My brother's up in Sun Valley, and I'm just like, you know, I do my best thinking when I'm going mock chicken, and these little legs can move very fast. So I'm reading this, and it keeps saying EOSworldwide.com, EOSworldwide.com. You've got a great speaker that I'm going to refer to in a moment. I go to the website, and I'm going, God, this is really cool. So EOS stands for Entrepreneur Operating System. So we have an operating system for our phone. You have one for your business. I have a brother who is a finance major. I'm a marketing event person, so I am creative way over here. I make him very uncomfortable. My brother is numbers and finance. I was also raised by an engineer. My father is a mechanical engineer. My grandfather was a nuclear physicist. Okay, so I'm a little weird in the family. I'm the black sheep at all times. Occasionally I'm a rainbow. So it keeps things interesting. But I'm reading this book and I'm going, God, Dewey might even buy into this. Dewey's my brother. So I go on their website and I find a third-party implementer option. And I happen to know her. Miss Jennifer DeRoyne out of Boise. Now I will introduce Max at this point. Max, wave. Max is your EOS implementer for this region. But we brought Jennifer on, and we have been able to turn our entire business around. And just with one scary moment, finding tools and fighting with facts, I was able to solve it. We came through, we're in the black, and I've got a great team. Had to clean up a little bit of the mess up, however that looks and however you want to put it. But that was a fearful situation in which I could have let a fourth generation company go down. And we didn't allow that. Scary? Absolutely. So, to that point, I am famous for saying this to my team. My job is to make you uncomfortable, because that is the only place in which growth happens. But I really firmly believe, because my parents have always taught me, you have to know every job on the farm. You had to go far away enough to college that you couldn't come home and do your laundry. I'm a vandal. My dad did not want me to be a Bronco. I married a Bronco. Kind of screwed that up, didn't I? But I practice what I preach. I walk the talk. I talk the walk. I do all the things. I am constantly uncomfortable. I believe in it. I have read, let's see, I'm constantly pushing myself, and I recommend this for anybody in whatever capacity it works for you. I read 157 books last year. If anybody knows me, knows I'm pretty busy. I still fit those in. Now, I will candidly admit 100 of those were for my own pleasure. Ladies, we can talk about book talk later. But the other 57 were for personal development, for business, for finance, to really get better at my job. I am a lifelong learner. All right, so in every situation I just described, it took taking inventory of the facts and the tools, and then taking decisive action. In those situations, I want to, has anybody caught themselves saying, why is this happening to me? Okay, I want you to flip that. How is this happening for me? Okay, there was a different story I cut out that was really tough. And it made it so I could handle the next situation that came at me. And the next situation was a 19-and-a-half-year employee trying to sabotage my business and destroying all of our digital files. Weathered it like a boss because of how I handled the last situation. It taught me something. It happened for me. I couldn't see that in the moment, but you can tackle anything the world throws at you if you have the right attitude. So I want to say that. So authenticity is a superpower. Now, fear is based around this. People often fear being seen. Who wants to come up on this stage and give, well, not this stage, the big stage, and give a speech? Most people, I got a handful. Most people fear public speaking above death. Now this, I have totally face planted going on a stage before. It was in 2015, it was the Rotary District Conference in Sun Valley. And I stood up and I go, oh, that was embarrassing, I'm glad that's over with. And everyone's like, oh my God, she just eat shit on stage. I was like, yep, I did that. So it's embracing that thing. So a lot of you in the room do know me. I am my whole person all the time. Do you know I scare the shit out of old white men in suits. real uncomfortable. I don't know if it's the tits, the tattoos, the mouth, I don't know. But I'm very intentionally disruptive. Now, you'll see me quiet in a room sometimes. It means that I'm not adding to that because I'm listening. If I'm seeing something that bothers me, I want to be a part of the solution. So, if I see something, I dig in. If I don't want to change it, I step back. So I practice what I preach. If I want to be a part of the change, I get involved. All right? I also don't intentionally just go to make old white men uncomfortable, but it is really fun. Okay, so I challenge people in the status quo. I am a 40-year-old CEO of a multi-million-dollar corporation. I do not look like your typical CEO. I actually intentionally went and got an outfit so you could see most of my art, because this is how I show up in a boardroom too. And I do sit on several boards. And it's fun to get them to challenge the status quo. And to that point, I often have to repeat to myself, what other people think of me is none of my business. If they are not feeding me, financing me, or bleep me, they don't get real estate in my head. All right? That radical authenticity and embracing that has made it so doors open. You also have to address your limiting beliefs. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but know what your core values are. I know that I am 100% authentic at all times, to a detriment sometimes. I am very direct, I'm very honest, and you always know where you sit with me. Also, these core values matter. Integrity. I can look myself in the eye at the end of every day. But I'm also okay with people not liking me. And that is a big thing. To be able to be like, I don't really care what you think. How brave is that? Who has the power when you do that? Does anybody want that power back? All the time. Okay, so it's making the hard decision when everyone is looking your way and staying true to your values. One of my other core values is joy. I want to make you laugh. I want you to have fun. That's where we're going to start a presentation with a nipple piercing story. Because why not? All right? Told Max I was going to do that, and he's like, okay, that's bigger than my story. Now it's just painful. Your story is probably a lot more impactful. So know your core values. And being disruptive isn't bad, as long as it's done with the proper intention and kindness. Now, I'm not going out here to disrupt people to piss you off. Now, if you get pissed off, I'm going to say, that sounds like a you problem. But oftentimes, people's reaction to us is a reflection of something in themselves. So remember that when you're going through something, you're like, gosh, this is making me feel some things. If you misspoke, apologize. Be brave and say, hey, you know what? I said this. I can tell it made you uncomfortable. I apologize. That was never my intention. Don't ever be scared to do those things, because believe you me, I can put a foot in my mouth real fast. Real fast. Do not conform to the standards that don't align with who you are. If it doesn't align with you, don't follow it. That is down to your heart. You get to decide who has the power in your life. And be brave enough to disappoint the wrong people. Please, be brave enough. You get to decide who has that real estate in your social calendar, your life, your belief systems, and all of that. Okay, courage to be disliked. So I got a funny story. My husband, he's a big gregarious man. He's actually louder than me, which is pretty impressive to say that. If anybody, Jennifer knows my husband well. He's loud as a bee. He's a big gregarious guy. So I have this ladies' night at Moss Greenhouses, and I really needed somebody to be an MC. And he showed up, and then my MC did show up, and so he's just hanging out with my brother drinking. And this lady's like, oh my gosh, who doesn't love Jennifer Moss? Who doesn't love Jennifer Moss? And my husband, being the snarky guy he is, it's like, there's a list. And she's like, ooh! She is so offended. And And he proceeds to tell me this the next day. I was like, well, who is it? He goes, I don't know, but you're gonna get a complaint. So be brave enough to be disliked. So living small to avoid fear costs more than taking the risk, all right? People dislike change, especially when it threatens the status quo. All right, if you're doing something big, people are always gonna push back. Let them. Has anyone read the Let Them? Oh, so good.
So good.
Mel Robbins, Let Them, Let Me. I'm loving it, so put that on your reading list. All right, so the courage to be disliked equals the courage to lead. What leader makes a decision that makes everybody happy all the time? No leader. And the leaders have to make the hardest decisions. There's a list of people who don't like me. And guess what? None of them make my life better. All right, so who are you afraid of upsetting? And are they helping you grow? So I actually asked myself a question. I asked my children this too. And this was kind of, I did in the Let Them book, I kind of heard this quote in a different way. I asked myself the question in a time of conflict, or like my heart's just like, God, this is upsetting me. I go, will this matter in a year? Will this matter in 5 years? Will this matter in 10 years? If the answer is no to any of those questions, it's done getting my attention. Boom, it's off the list. So remember that discomfort is the tax you pay for growth. So let me repeat that. Discomfort is the tax you pay for growth. I should have put it on the slide. Okay. I'm going to ask you the question, what is fear costing you? Is it costing you missed chances, personal growth, bold decisions? Is it standing in the way of your dreams? When somebody is on their deathbed, they don't regret what they did. They regret what they didn't do. You know what it all takes? 20 seconds of insane courage. That's it. You need 20 seconds of courage to make a big decision that can make, break, completely change your life. Discomfort is temporary. Remember that. But regret lasts a lifetime. All right. Okay, we fight fear with facts. We talked about that. All right, so remember our definition of fear. It's a distressing emotion, right? Pain is discomfort, right? And the thought of pain creates fear in about every way possible. We can't control this. Remember that? I need like a gong moment right now. Okay? So I want to talk about Brendan Burchard. Is anybody familiar with Brendan Burchard? Oh, fired. I actually had his team as a life coach. That is why I'm CEO. They are just incredible. So High Performance Habits, best book. It's thick, it's a lot. There's 6 of them, it's worth it. But he talks about fear is just mismanagement of the mind. All right, guys? So we're talking about pain because that's part of the definition. So what are the 3 types of pain? All right? There's loss pain. So we got to rationalize the benefits of acting through the fear. Like we're going to lose something. Oh, God. All right? And then there's process pain. So the process will be painful. Again, how is this happening for me? So we put that question on. And then there's outcome pain. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. We're scared. Or we do know what it's going to be, and it's going to change everything. Who knows somebody that's in a relationship, and they stay in it, and it's toxic, it's bad, it's dangerous, whatever. Yeah, it's like, I know exactly that. The fear of the unknown is scarier than what they're comfortable with. So they're literally putting themselves in a situation that's dangerous because it's too scary to leave. So, this is always something good to know, all right? Understand where the pain comes from, and then figure out how to reframe it. How can this work for you? All right, since I'm gonna cut short on time, but fear versus forward motion. Again, 20 seconds of insane courage. That's how you move forward. We rewire the brain. We keep working on those neural pathways. We make a different decision. You know when something's bothering me? My spiritual release therapist taught me this. So you know that little box that comes up on the computer that says okay or cancel when you're doing something? If I've got something going on in my brain, I actively, like verbally out loud, and I envision it. If I can't get it out of my head, I go, cancel, 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 cancel. And it goes away. Use that trick. It sounds so stupid when I say it out loud, and then you'll get in a spot where you're like, God, it's 4 in the morning and I'm done doing work in my sleep. This is that moment to use that cancel button. You do not have to borrow trouble. We don't have to worry about it. And most things are caught, not taught. So self-awareness is a superpower. We actually inherit a lot of our fears. We learn it from generational trauma from our parents or how we were raised. So what fear beliefs were passed down to you? What's running in the background? Who is your self-talk? Is it you? Is it a parent? Is it an old teacher? Pay attention to that, all right? We must listen less to our thoughts and actually talk back to them more. I challenge you, talk back to yourself. It's a lot of fun, actually. If you do it out loud, people are gonna look at you a little weird, so be a little careful. All right, so I'm also gonna give you guys an exercise to do. So, anybody know Ed Milet? I know Senate does. Ed is incredible. His podcast is amazing too. His books are great. He has a 6 breath technique. So what I want you to think about right now is what is something that scares the living shit out of you? It could be something like get that in your brain. Get that in your brain. Mine is the undertow in the ocean because I can't see it. I know that sounds silly, but that's like the one thing that really scares me. Now get that in your brain. Get that in your brain. Are you living in it? Is your heart rate going up? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to inhale slowly. And then exhale through pursed lips like you're pushing through a straw. The idea is if you repeat this 6 different times, at any moment that you're feeling fearful, it will regulate your hippocampus and your amygdala. It will bring your blood pressure down. It will give you a moment to breathe. Brendon Burchard is also known to say you can't solve any problem in the same state of mind in which it happens. So know that when you're fearful, you're scared, you're angry, you're feeling a big emotion, walk away. Take a walk. Get your head straight. You're not going to solve it in the same situation in which it happened. That is a big part of controlling fear. Definitely take that moment and do that. Is anybody thinking of something you're like, oh, I should have done that? I always do. Because I'm critical of myself. All right, I'm going to talk about the thing that nobody should talk about, the gender gap. All right, you guys, we can hack this. Straight up, ladies in the room, we can hack this. I wasn't supposed to be CEO. I am. How did I do it? I changed their perception of me. I showed up the way I had to for years to break the pattern. I had to figure out what does my engineer father need from me. And so we're not fixing the gender gap today, but we can outperform it. Be so damn consistent, you prove them wrong. That is the trick. Oh, see, that is the wrap it up alarm. You like that?
You got a few more minutes. Keep going.
All right, good. Because I got a couple more slides. That's all right. We're trying to make up time, so I'm trying to be a.
Good.
Don't try to change their mind, ladies. Change the pattern they're used to. Okay? Proof is in the pudding, as they say. But make sure you're so goddamn consistent that nobody can doubt your abilities. That's the trick. And that's why that breathing technique, because does anybody cry when they get upset? And you're angry. And you're like, why am I crying? I'm even madder. Okay, breathing. I almost watched Carrie get into tears, but it was a cute thing because of her husband.
I cry all the time.
Yeah. I had to break that with my father because he thought the second that I started crying, I've lost all credibility in a meeting. It took 3 freaking years of having 0 reaction to things. I mentally am having a full-on breakdown. If anybody knows, I kind of joke about this in my head, and I'm going to sound a little crazy, certifiable here for a second. In my head, when there's open space, there's a little circus monkey on a tricycle riding around in a room full of filing cabinets, going doo 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 doo. So when occasionally I screw up my words, it's because he ran into a filing cabinet and knocked it over. So in those moments, I have to really be like, okay, I really need to pull this together. So really, you don't have to change their mind. You get to live in your space and make your own decisions, is what I'm trying to push through with that. Okay, so the real question, what's on the other side of fear? What would happen if you just got brave? Does anybody have something? Kim's got one. What is it?
You come out on the other side.
You do.
You come out on the other side.
Okay. If you want to be brave, let's talk about something. Anybody know about this?
Yes.
Okay. I got brave. I had an old white man with a doctor in front of his name show up tell me this plant glows in the dark, and I was like, bullshit. Because I didn't believe it. So I heard him out. I reached out to a friend that was involved with the project. This is a story I can tell you guys in a link later, but we got brave and we invested in it, and we had, on May 31st last year, 1,200 people show up to the greenhouse and buy an ugly white petunia at $30 a piece. That glows in the dark. Okay, who's the VIPs in the room that took these home last night and saw them? Do they glow? No. Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever seen? Very unassuming. We took a big risk on this. Now, that risk paid off. These are my plants on the cover of Time magazine. November 2024 for Best Inventions of the Year. And I want to point something out. It is listed, this is also the ugliest picture of a white petunia I've ever seen. So the editor and I should have a conversation, but that's okay. We're listed above Apple, above Google, above AI, robotics, and Volkswagen. A little flower that could. All right, so this is being brave and taking a risk. Now, I told you my brother's a finance guy. The whole time he's going, "You're nuts, what are you doing?" Well, it paid off. So bravery is not a trait, it's a decision. Bravery is not a trait, it's a decision. Anybody can make that decision. So paint the picture of what's possible. Is it time for a career change? That new business idea that you cannot get out of your head? If it's taking up space, start writing it down. I've got an entire business plan of a food truck that I wanted to open that was called Full Frontal Food. Yeah. It was going to be open-faced sandwiches and chopped salads. And it was going to have a fetish of the day, and all of them were named after really inappropriate people. I got the entire menu plan and everything, just because it was living in my head. Do I want to work in a food truck? Hell no. If anybody knows me, before this, I actually opened Elevation 486 as assistant general manager. I've done food. I want my life back. So when I got out of the service industry, I also think everybody should work in the service industry so you can learn how to be a full human. But if it's living in your head, get it on paper. And if anybody wants to buy that idea, it is for sale. Also, do you want to pursue a new relationship? I actually met my husband looking like I'd gotten run through the washer in the greenhouse with his ex with his 2 twin children when they were born. Well, that's not scary. I don't know what is. And I saw him on Tinder a couple of days later, and I remember seeing him and being like, that's it. And I was like, that shit doesn't happen. That's in storybooks. I had 20 seconds of insane courage, and I said, hey, you met me the other day. I look like a dumpster fire. I think you're hot and we should hang out. And he was like, huh. And, you know, the story wrote itself, and we just celebrated 10 years. So 20 seconds of insane courage. I came onto my house. It was kind of fun. So is it a new relationship? Is it the end of a miserable one? Is it a healthier boundary to protect your peace? Or is it a wild, weird, wonderful idea? Bravery is a muscle. The more you use it, the easier it gets. You're the main character. You are the main character of your story. You are not the sub-character, you are not the supporting actors, you are the main character in your story. You are in control of your life, not your fear, not your critics, not your pre-programmed patterns. You get to decide. All right? Is everybody hearing that? You get to decide. Misery is a choice. Busy is a choice. Stressed is a choice. Joy is a choice. And bravery. You get one shot at this life. Make it count. And I'm going to just tell you, you don't need permission to live a big, bold, brave life. But if you do, consider it this. I give you permission. You deserve to be here. You deserve to have a seat at the table. And the world is your goddamn playground, so go get dirty and go have some fun.